Okay. Let's do this. Alright. Just remembered YouTube's gonna be so fucking. Ugh, whatever. Okay.
All on your Wix website.
We have to watch the ad.
On your
Choose it,
Wix
drag
website.
It, drop it, show it, change it, sell it.
If you're a complete beginner to Blender,
Oh my god, he's Australian.
Yeah,
this
he
video
is.
series will show
I
you
forgot
how
to tell
to
you that.
create
You're a complete
this
beginner
scene
to
here.
Blender?
Some donuts and some coffee, whilst also
He doesn't
walking
have
you through
American friends.
some of Blender's very basic features from a beginner's perspective. So you'll go
Yeah,
from being
look how thick that is.
complete beginner, like never having touched the software before,
How
to
round that is.
understanding
The context,
the very
though.
basics
Oh my
of
God.
and materials, lighting, and things like that.
Oh, sprinkles.
I know that you
look
are
at the wood.
probably busting to get started in Blender.
No, you're just
but
trying
since
too
this is
hard.
part
We're
one, I want
bloody
to take
busting
60
to get
seconds to
started
just
in
quickly
Blender.
address what this video series will discuss and what it won't. So, Blender can do a lot of stuff, like too much stuff. There's a lot of
We
features
don't
here
need
that
this.
only
What are you
like a
doing?
fringe group of people will ever use. Like,
God, why
like some
did you
people
do
use
that?
Blender for like
I don't know.
visualizing MRI scans, you know.
Do you really
And,
not
like, the
want
stuff
it?
that they use, like
No,
you
just, like,
can
wondering why we did it.
touch. So, if you're familiar
I
with
don't
the
care.
80-20 rule, it's that 80% of the results come from 20% of the actions, or in this case, in terms of software, they come from 20% of its features. So I believe that in 3D, the 20% of features that
Why not?
everybody uses,
What are you talking about?
regardless of whether you're in
Why
3D
not?
printing,
Why not what?
VR, visual effects,
Why not?
animation, any of that
Smoothie.
stuff, everybody
Oh my
uses
God.
modeling, materials, and
I'm
lighting.
upset. I
And
need
so
to
that's,
know the
that's the
reason.
focus of
Because
the
we're
It can't be that
learning-
hard to make the
it's to
copy
help
cup.
you go from being a
Then you do
complete
it.
noob of Blender
Yeah,
to
Fine.
first of all
I'm
understanding the interface, which is pretty
confused.
important.
What the fuck's
To
happening?
This is your
modeling
friend. You have to
something,
deal with
creating a
that.
completely
Geez,
new
like
shape
you
out of
started
it.
out.
Your
way
friend
better
too,
before
fuck
me.
you.
I know, but you're more of a friend to her. Like you started out.
Who
You
said
were
that?
never
I'm
heard
the
of
fucking
her.
worst friend
create
ever.
your next
Yeah, she's
first
a bitch,
scene.
dude.
So,
She hates me.
we're going to be
She does,
going
I
through
can
the
vouch.
process,
She's an
Everyone, don't worry
asshole.
about
and
it.
throughout this, we're going
no,
to
but
be
she's, like,
also
extra,
creating this
you
scene
know?
as well. So you'll both
You know
be
when someone's extra?
learning
That's
Blender
fake
from a
to
new
me.
perspective, whilst also
So
working
she's
towards
guac?
this final image here.
Yeah.
That's racist.
But like, you know how for that, she's like
this
extra,
is part
extra.
one, so
guac.
we're going to be doing just some
Okay,
very,
that's
very
the.
basic
If I say
stuff
it's
in this
guac
video.
and it's racist to you,
Just
what's
moving
racist to
around
me?
Blender
Like, what's an
and,
Australian racist?
You know, just
What?
showing
Vegemite?
the very introduction. of
Ah, that's
this.
true.
But if you stick to the very end
I
of
didn't
this
think about
video,
that.
just for something fun, because I know
But
we're going
come
through
on,
some
that's
dry stuff
delicious.
at the start. If you
We're
stick
gonna
to
have
the
so
end,
much
I'll show
Vegemite in
you
our
how
house.
to
Oh,
create a
God, you can have
fiery
that all for
monkey
yourself.
head,
Ouch.
just as a little
Yes.
fun thing right for the end there. So, if you haven't done it already, go to blender.org, download Blender, and install it. I won't show you how to do that because I don't want to insult
I won't show you how to
intelligence.
do it, but
And
I
also,
want
I'm
to
pretty
make
sure
sure
a
use
lot
your
of people
intelligence.
have already done that.
Oh.
So, yeah. Welcome to Blender. Now, if you're itching to explore
What?
Blender, feel free. Click all the buttons. Because the good thing is that you can't really break it. Like, maybe let's say you change everything to the point that, like, even
Are we making the
developers
donut today or the fire monkey
What
head?
did you do?
Both.
Like, it's unrecognizable
same
from the
time.
default Blender.
Combined.
Well, if you go to File,
Okay.
New, it restores the default layout. So Blender, like you know, like Photoshop,
Okay.
like
I need to
if you
go,
use it
though.
and then like, you change
Alright.
like a
Alright.
toolbar
See you,
or a
man.
panel or
6
something
hours.
like
Remember,
that,
Shadow?
and you're like, oh no, where did
Not.
it go? And so you
Boy.
restart the program, hoping that it'll come back
I
again,
can't
and it
find my.
doesn't.
Where is
Well,
it?
Blender's not like
There it is.
the
Kick
him out,
layout
Victoria.
isn't
I got it.
like saved, like
Oh.
yeah, like
Poor
it's
dude.
saved into
Gotta
the
get on that
file.
dick.
So like, yeah,
No.
if you change the layout or whatever, you can just restore it by.
I don't
Yeah,
want
okay.
that dick. It's too lanky.
So the point being, if you're
I mean,
using
hey,
software and you want to check
whatever you
out
want.
like all
It's
the
not
little
all about
features in that, like feel free, like click everything.
Oh my God, what am I saying? I'm not even experienced.
At the end of it, you know, you can just just start up a new scene and fine and dandy. So yeah, so that's that. So after you've done clicking around, let's talk about what these different things are. So this area right here in front of you, this is called.
Oh, that's right.
the
I need to
3D
change to
viewport.
mouse. Oops.
And probably 95% of what
It's
you
weird
do
to think
in
that
Blender
like people
is
who do
done
this
by
use a
you.
pen.
So if you're making a character,
But like he's telling us to do
if
it with a
you're
mouse.
Modeling a car, you do it here. If you're building a scene, you do it here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Why
this
not?
area here is it does a lot.
I suppose.
So yeah, that's what this area is right here. Now on the right hand side, all these little buttons here, these are called This is called the properties.
hello.
Properties panel,
meet you,
properties
Reinhardt.
area.
Properties
And this is
panel.
where you generally change information of the 3D viewport. So, like, for example, this cube here, like, oh my goodness. That'd be the wife. Oh, answer that one later.
So Vic,
So with this
Why don't we
cube
have
here, like,
emotes of
say I
you?
went to the...
Shush,
should be
we
on
do.
Do Not Disturb. I don't know.
no, like
What's wrong?
If you selected
Like-
the cube and you went to the
like-
materials panel and you made that color there red, hey, lo and behold, it's made the cube.
Wanna know why?
red. So
Because
that's
I have
just
a
an example,
professional
right?
artist doing them for
Yeah,
me.
the stuff that you change, that you do.
I
change
am
in
not
the
a
viewport, you can
professional
change it in the
artist.
properties panel.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the basics
Yes.
of that.
I'll
now,
pay you
moving
eventually.
around in the 3D viewport is done with your
I do not
middle
get paid in
mouse
pizza
button.
when we
So
actually
if
live
you
together.
click and hold that in,
Although that is delicious, and
you
I
are
would
now
accept that payment.
orbiting. So we are now sort of rotating around 360 degrees of your scene. Now this orbiting function, I remember when I first started, it was very like there were times
We're watching
when
the
I was
tutorial,
like,
Bella.
I did that, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? Everything is upside down.
Sorry,
And it
let
was
me
like, so
expand it. There you go.
jarring. So the thing to remember is if you get into an area like you're like, I don't know where I am, you can use on your number pad, if you hit 7, that takes you to, actually, I should make sure I turn on my screen keys tool so you can actually see what I'm pushing there. Okay, if you hit number pad 7, that takes you to the top. If you hit number pad 1, that takes you to the front. If you hit number pad 3, takes you to the side. Okay, so 7, 1, and 3. By the way, if you're on a laptop right now and you don't happen
So
to have
you're watching
a
the tutorial
number
together.
pad,
Yeah.
shame on you.
Nice.
Get yourself
And
a
we're
laptop.
doing it at the
With
same
the
Why are
time.
you
number
getting
pad.
boosted? What the
I know, I got a MacBook
Huh?
Air, and it's the same. So if you are on a laptop, just go to File,
don't know.
User Preferences, and then underneath Input, click Emulate Number Pad. And also, if you wanted to emulate your what's it called? Like the middle mouse button, you could click Emulate 3-button mouse, and then you Control left click, and then you'll do that. But honestly, you should get a mouse if you're using Blender. At least get a mouse. But anyways, click Number Pad and then click Save User Settings if you're on a laptop. Otherwise, you're fine. Okay. So
What?
look at that. So now we're moving
And
around.
what the
We're looking at the
fuck?
top view, looking at the front, whatever. Now, let's say we don't want to have to look at the cube right now. What our focus is on is that right there, which is the camera. Well,
So
it's
if
kind of
one were
annoying
to
to bring
find a
that into
smoothie
focus.
tutorial.
So the way that you would have a look at that is by holding down Shift and then middle mouse button dragging.
You.
And now we're sort of
Shift,
moving
middle
the view,
mouse
we're
button
shifting the
drag.
focus to a new area.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of
What?
like weird, like you first move it, it's like, oh, that's not the center, like the camera's up
I
there. now.
said if one
So
were
like
to
because
find
it's
a
3D view,
smoothie
it doesn't really
tutorial.
know where you're trying to look at until
YouTube.
you sort of
Yeah.
by a number of
Would you?
movements find your way there. If this
You
is
do
making
it.
any sense at all. So now we're sort of
Why?
looking at the
No.
camera there. Now if I wanted to have a look at the
Why a
lamp,
donut?
and by the way, this is good practice, just especially as you first start. Go from having a look at the camera to now having a look at the lamp. Now I'm going down to have a look at the cube here, and now we're looking at the old cube. Thrilling stuff, I know. This is probably thinking like, this is 3D. Oh my goodness, what have I done?
What have
It's
I
the most
done?
boring thing. I know.
God,
it's
what did you
boring,
do?
but It's the start.
No, that's what he
you know,
said.
You break off the dry piece of bread, and then underneath is the moist stuff.
I hate when people say moist.
Put that on a bumper sticker. All right. So
I'm
yeah, so we're
banning
moving
that
around.
word in
Okay, so
our
that's
house.
good practice. All right, good practice.
Yes,
I won't be checking
ma'am.
your homework, but if you could sort of just
Great.
move object to object, it's good practice. Now there is
there a
actually an easier
specific
way to
reason?
like. Don't think you have to do that for
'Cause
everything.
it's stupid.
So say I was on this cube and I wanted
People
to look
use
at
it for
that
the wrong
camera
way.
over there. Well, first of all, I would
Yes, you do.
select the camera, which you'll notice if you click anywhere in Blender, you click, you're not selecting it. You got this dumb little. It's called the 3D cursor.
It is a
It
dumb
has
little
purpose,
thing.
but it's annoying. You click and it's like there's that thing there. Why is that? Well, for whatever reason, Blender is a little bit silly in that the left and the right mouse buttons are sort of flipped. Okay, so default with Blender to select something is right click, which I personally believe is a little bit silly. And I even did a whole video series explaining it, and 90% of the community voted that it should be changed. And from what I heard in the future, it is going to be changed. By default, it'll be left click. For now, what I suggest you do, especially as a beginner, because it'll help you it's just one less thing to think about, is to change the default to be left click. And you can do that by going to File, User Preferences, and then click Select with Left.
I'm doing that.
And then when you do that, hit
pissing me off.
Save User Settings. Oh, let me check that so I can do that. Okay.
Whoops.
And now that you've done that, hey, now you can select just like you would in any other program. Just makes it a
Select.
lot easier. And you're now ahead of the curve,
Done.
so that
With-
when it does change to default
Ah,
to
so
left,
much easier.
Where is it?
on the
Input.
same
There we
page.
go.
Okay, so now,
You
we've
idiot.
selected something. We select the camera. If we want to have a look at that thing, instead of dragging our way over there piece by piece, if you hit number pad period, ta-da, now it brings that directly to the focus. Now I can select the lamp. Now
So,
I'm looking
full
at the
stop.
lamp. Now I select the cube, and now I'm looking at the cube.
Wait.
Okay. So those are some very basic things. So we discussed in this part 1, which was very
God, he's making me
dry
dizzy.
and
There we go.
very,
Did it.
boring. Orbiting
Congrats.
with middle mouse click. Panning with shift middle mouse click. Top view, which is 7. Front view, which is 1. Side
teaching
view,
us how
which
to
is
talk.
3. Oh, one extra on my way just to make it interesting. If you push number pad 5, that takes it from perspective mode to orthographic mode, or back and forth, like that. Which don't, if you're a complete beginner, don't worry about that yet. Like, oh, well, what's the difference? It's just, like, users of other software might be more familiar with orthographic or vice versa. So you can switch between them. And it comes in handy when you're modeling something like the size of a building, you want to get it the exact size. You would switch in and out of it like that. But anyways, don't worry about it otherwise. So, yeah, so 7, 1, 3 to the side, that to switch in and out of it. To focus on something, you are clicking and then number pad period. And we also inverted the settings to what it should be, left click as select. So again, this is just part 1. I just want to do some very, very basic stuff just to start. To make things interesting, I did mention that we would set a monkey head on fire. So let's do that right now. So
You okay?
let's delete this default cube.
So fucking
And,
annoying.
I'll just show you the next thing in Blender. So to bring another object into the
It's
scene,
annoying. You don't
do
like.
this by
You don't like the
hitting Shift
tutorial.
A.
I'm not, because I'm trying to
Okay, so
freaking
you
delete
pull
the
up
cube and
the
it's not
media.
deleting.
Yeah, it's a
You just
range
select
of
it and
different
press
stuff.
delete.
A lot of them.
I
you
am.
really like speaker. I
Are you
guess
selecting
that's
with
used for
right or
games.
left?
Force field, that's for like physics simulations and
Shut
stuff.
up.
The majority of what you would use is underneath mesh.
Oh.
So these other software sometimes call them
I hate you
primitives.
both.
All
It's
I
just a
said was,
basic
oh.
object. So sphere, you click sphere, brings in a sphere. You can
Monkey.
delete, you can just hit delete.
It wasn't
and then
encouraging
delete. I'm not sure if I
anything.
addressed that before.
How the hell do I bring up the
Anyways,
screen again?
So you
Oh.
can bring in
Monkey,
any of these
monkey,
objects
monkey,
here.
monkey.
Another
What did I do?
another,
Oh
God, I'm pressing a bunch of
shortcut
buttons.
for
What do I
delete is
press?
X, by the way.
Shift A.
Hit X. So you can bring in a
Shift
bunch of
A.
these. Now, right down the bottom there's one called Monkey.
Got it.
What's the deal with the
Hello,
monkey,
monkey.
Andrew? Well, monkey is it's kind of like a cult figure of Blender.
Oh my god, I moved it. Oh god,
It's
what did I
used
do?
mostly
Oh god,
for,
it's
like,
moving.
Material tests. Like you want to test a material, you just bring in a monkey. But now it's sort of like this cult icon of Blender. So if you look at like some renders that people make online,
Shift.
like you see like a forest scene, you're like, it's a cool forest.
Oh, shift,
Shift?
middle mouse.
Wait
There
a
we go.
minute,
Shit.
and you like zoom in, and like I recognize that rock, and it's of course it's the monkey head. So like Blender used to try and like slip it into their scene as kind of like a little Easter egg. So that's kind of fun. But that's basically it. It's a monkey, and for whatever reason, it's called the Suzanne head. I don't know where that name came from. Let me get a drink here for a second.
ASMR.
It's just thirsty,
Okay.
jeez.
So, let's set the Suzanne head on fire. So you can do this very, very quickly. If you hit the space bar, which is another shortcut, it allows you to type in anything, like maybe select. You forget like what the keyboard shortcut is, you can just type it in, like what's the snap cursor to the center, and you can just do that. But the one that we're going to do, just for a bit of fun, because I know we did some dry stuff, let's set it on fire by clicking Quick Smoke. And what that does is it performs a number of actions for you very quickly. So it created this smoke simulation based around the object that was selected, which was the monkey head. And now if you hit Alt-A, which is another shortcut, it's rendering, it's simulating the smoke, which is kind of
Tis
cool.
true.
And if you really wanted to, this isn't include, like, this is just extra advanced stuff. I've got a whole tutorial on fire simulation, by the way, if you wanted to check it out later on. But in the physics panel here, you've got options like you could make it like high resolution smoke, so that now it's like you get more plumy smoke, which is kind of cool. You could make it higher resolution, so it's like a nicer looking smoke. And also, if you select the Suzanne head and then change the smoke type to fire and smoke, hey, now it's a crazy.
Select the
flaming
Suzanne
head
head,
like out of
put
that
the thing.
Nicolas Cage movie. What's
Put the
that?
what?
That
What?
that motorcyclist.
Oh fuck.
The one that looks
Oh,
like.
fuck, what am I doing? What am I-
Look at it, I'm pressing so many things.
No, Ghost Rider. That was.
Control Z.
He's like, I'm the Ghost Rider. I just scared my cat. Anyway,
Um,
that was it for part one.
well, I
now,
fucked up anyway.
I
It's good.
discussed a lot of keyboard shortcuts in this video. A lot of them. Now, if you're struggling to remember it, don't worry about writing notes, because there is
okay.
a free keyboard shortcut PDF on my website. So if you click here right now, just go to the website and then type in your email address, and I'll send that to your inbox. So it's a handy little guide. It's got all the common shortcuts in 3 pages, all the common shortcuts that most artists use, and it's printer friendly. So you can print it out, stick it on your wall, and enjoy. So that was part 1. Hope you learned something. Click here to,
We learned
to
how to be
join me in
confused.
part 2 right now. And let's get into it.
You want to create a stunning website? I've already done it with Wix. Let me show you how it's done.
In this video, you'll learn how to move, rotate, and scale any
I
object,
didn't want
as well
Ty.
as how to use the modifier.
Okay, I'm starting
selector.
again. I'm just closing
And
the whole
if you
thing down and
stick right
starting
to the
again.
end of the video,
Yeah, that's
you'll
what I
learn
did
how to
too.
turn your donut into a little breakdancer doing the worm. Yeah, it's just a stupid thing. Something fun to end on, anyway. All right, so in the last video, we didn't actually we didn't make anything. We just moved around
Yeah,
and
no
stuff
shit.
like that. We set a monkey
Aw,
head on
Pete.
fire, but that, again, that was something stupid. Now we're actually going to start to
Look, I
assemble
came for
the
results,
scene,
okay?
which is a donut sitting on a table. So I
He's
mentioned
being a
this
good
briefly
teacher.
at the end of the last video as the final
He's
thing.
being annoying.
But to
This
delete
could be so much
the window,
easier.
you do that by hitting
Just
the
write
X
down the
key,
instructions,
or
put
you
it
can
on a
actually
piece of
just push
paper
the
for me,
delete
and I'll
key,
go
but
step by
X or
step and
delete.
figure it out myself. Thank you very much. I
So
don't
I'm
need to
gonna
watch
start
6
by
videos.
placing the table. So,
gonna watch the
and I
video.
mentioned this in the last video as
I
well.
hate you so
Uh,
much.
shift
You know
is how you
that.
add any object into Blender, so you can see all the different options here. Yeah, as I mentioned, it's usually always a mesh. That's usually what you always need. And these objects here, you pick the one which most resembles what it is that you're trying to create. So if you were making like a cup, you would generally pick a cylinder. If you were making a house, you might pick
I
a
put a
cube.
torus in.
But in
Done.
our case, we're just going
That's
to
what he's
start
trying
with
to
the
get to.
table.
Hurry up
So,
and get to it.
let's go and add in the plane, okay? So a plane
Oh right, I
is a
forgot about that. He's
completely
right.
flat, like like double-sided.
We're
We're doing the
mesh,
plane
like,
because it's the
just
first one.
Piece of, it's a plane, right? So
It's
I want to
the-
scale
it's
this
gonna
up
be
so
the
that it fits
fucking-
the size of our.
It's gonna be the table.
here. So you do that in
I get
Blender
it.
by hitting the S key, and you'll notice that
Yes.
it immediately starts following the mouse. So a lot of other software like Photoshop and most programs
made
like,
it
you
as big
activate
as the whole
tool
thing.
and then you use the mouse
Boom.
to then
Move,
use the tool.
bitch.
Like you
Get
click
out
the tool
the
and then
way.
you start
Get
using it.
out the
Get
way,
out
But
the
bitch.
way.
Blender is a
Get
little
out the
different
way.
in that from the moment that you push the
Bitch.
key, it's already using the tool and it will automatically start
out the way,
following
bitch.
your
Get out
mouse.
the way.
So even if your
Listen,
mouse
we're
is
done
like
with
in
that.
a nowhere near
sorry.
the object that you're
sorry.
using, if you
Fuck
push
you, I'm
S,
playing in
you'll see that
Playing
it's activating it straight away. So at first it's a little weird. It's like,
Really?
oh,
Why are you such
why
an
is it
asshole?
moving it even though
I'm
my mouse is
sorry.
over here?
I didn't do anything.
But it's
This
actually
is
really
so much
fast
more
way to
fun
work
than
because
being
you
a
don't
normal
have to worry
person.
about
True.
where your
But I
mouse
didn't
is in
do
relation to the
anything.
object. You can
So?
just drag it. Anyway, so we're scaling it. Yeah,
You
yeah,
think
for
we
us.
deserve Victoria's punishment?
Now, if you hold down
Most of the
control
time,
during any
probably.
movement, it'll move it in increments
I don't know.
like this. And if you hold down shift, it will move it in like really
Fuck,
subtle,
what was it say?
slight movements. So yeah, but anyway, we're gonna hold down control just so that it gets to that little grid floor there. Just it's not really that important, but I just like to keep it nice and tidy, so I keep it on the grid floor. All right, so we've got a plane here. Now let's go ahead and add in our donut. So I'm gonna hit Shift A
Donut.
again. And which of these objects most resemble a donut? Why, it's the torus.
Oh, I feel like I'm watching
Taurus.
Play School.
I think Taurus is one of the objects that I use the least in Blender. It's
I
like
don't
one
make
of
the
those
grid
things where
come
it's like,
through.
when do you ever
Oh,
do an object that looks like this?
On
it just
the
so happens
on
that
the
I don't
plane,
so,
you
yeah,
just
it's a
move the
Unity
arrow up or
tutorial,
down,
but it's a rare object.
like the
Anyway.
top arrow.
Now, some objects, when you add them into Blender,
There is no
immediately,
arrow.
on the left-hand side,
On the
you get
plane,
some options related to the
There's
object.
no arrow.
Now, if you were
Okay.
to do
you see that blue arrow in the video?
Hang on. Oh my god. Yes, the blue arrow.
Yeah. So when you select the plane and you get that blue arrow, you move it up or
Uh-huh.
down.
Shit, what the fuck?
Oh god. Okay, so it's gonna go. That's gonna go so far down for the grid to come through, though. No,
Just want to see what the fuck.
It's not that far down.
no, it just doesn't have the grid come through.
Can you
Let's
show
go
me yours?
control. I'll show you yours if you give me mine.
Nice.
That's what Jack and I did for that one video contest.
Oh, don't send it to her. That's not the wrong one. There we go. I almost sent it to Chantal. She'd be like, what the fuck?
Like, what are you making? 3D modeling a dildo?
I'm good. I'm set
Make
on
it
those.
wiggle. Make it do the worm. Yeah. Just do it. Just move it lower so that it'll do it.
You know what? I'll fucking show you. You know what? You little bitch.
I don't understand what's wrong.
Look, it is plain. If I lower it, look where it goes. Fucking asshole. There, I'm screaming at you in this now.
That's you screaming?
Look. Me screaming when my parents are asleep. Shut the fuck up.
Like, it's the most adorable screaming I've ever heard.
Why did you send
Not
that?
even screaming.
You didn't send it yet. I'm like, what was that thing? Why did you send it on Discord?
No. Where's my Missy when I need her?
I'm deleting it.
No, don't delete it.
If I lower it, look where it goes.
No. You're putting it too far.
No shit!
You only have to put it a little bit. Just a little bit so that the grid shows.
It's
Phoenix. Do I have to videotape it too?
You know what? Yes, you know what? Fucking
Okay.
video shit.
Alright. Okay? Okay, so this is where it is right now for me because I already did it. Alright, you can just go up or you can go down a little, just right there. Easy. Easy.
Is it?
Okay, so I realize what's going on. I put my cursor in the wrong spot.
You bitch.
I just
Victoria,
went
I'm
top
gonna
down. I'm
kill
like,
you.
what's going on?
Victoria, I'm gonna kill you.
I was gonna kill you, whore.
Damn. Now that's screaming.
My phone's gonna die.
You're gonna die.
Oh.
Wow. When did Jack get here? Oh, whoops.
Okay. Alright, we good. We good.
Okay. Alright, let's keep going.
do something like so say you add the object and then I don't know, maybe you scaled the plane or something like that. You'll notice that those options have disappeared now.
Oh, that's
So the
one
options
speaking. I
for
was
the
like, wait, who's
object that
talking?
you got when you first added it in here, they can only be edited the moment after you add them. So let's just do that again. So I deleted it with X, Shift A, can add another torus. yeah, so you can see the options here. Like if I wanted to change the segments, like how high resolution I want my donut to be. By the way, like I remember when I started Blender, I'm like, everything's going to be high res. And I made everything this ridiculous high poly mesh, which is not what you want to do. So you want to use as few vertices actually as possible. But anyway, so let's say we wanted to adjust the segments here or whatever. You would do this the moment after you add the object. And I think this is pretty much the same for other software as well. Because the moment, after you add something, you should be able to change it. But if you start editing things, well, then you shouldn't really be able to change the object. Otherwise, you might overwrite and edit. Anyway, I'm getting too advanced here. But anyways, just remember that when you add an object, you can change stuff. Now, the one I really want to change is down here where it says minor radius for our torus. So if I turn that
Below
up,
his webcam.
you can see that I'm just tweaking the minor radius of the torus there. Which, by the way, like these options here are specific to the torus. Like, again, torus is a very rare object, but we are, we're tweaking it to make it look fatter, like a real donut that goes in that little deep fryer thing and, swells up. Anyway, now you'll notice that it is sticking through the floor. So, if you haven't done it already, have a go at clicking one of these arrows. So these arrows are on any object that you select, like this one here. It's called a 3D widget tool, and it allows you to move it on a specific axis. So you can see if I hit that green one, it's only moving on the green axis. Red one will only move on the red, and the blue one will only move on the blue. Now these axes are the 3 dimensions which we live in the world, and you'll find this little tool here, this little thing.
49
in
because that looks like a
every 3D
donut.
software you use.
I put 46.
Because there are 3 axes. So this top axis here, this
It's okay.
blue one, it's called the Z.
I probably should have
axis,
done
and it
49.
represents vertical
Now I'm
movement
thinking
up
my
and down.
donut isn't as fat.
This green one represents the Y axis, which
Fuck!
represents side to side, and then of course the red one is the X, which represents the depth, like
My
backwards and
donut's too skinny.
forward. Now the reason I'm telling you this is that
My donut got
when
curves,
so,
girl.
Okay, so you can move an object.
Damn,
by
girl,
hitting
that
these little
donut's got
arrows
some
here, but you
dough.
can also move it by hitting the G key.
You
And
good,
just like
Joe?
before,
You
it's
good?
now moving
Wow.
to your
Damn,
left,
that
your
dough
right,
is
click on it,
thick.
And then when you want to stop it, you just click and it's there again. But as well as that, so while you're moving it on G, you can also, after you've pressed G, if you type the letter of any of those axes, like say X, it will now snap it and only move to its X axis.
I still
Or
really
I
like
can
that.
Tap Y, it'll move to its Y, or Z, and it'll move to the Z axis. But if you don't even want to have to remember those axes, there's even a quicker way of doing it, and that is to, whilst you're moving it, if you push the middle mouse key, the middle mouse button there, or if you hold it down, I should say.
I really like this
and then you
too.
point it in the direction of the axis that you want it to go. And you can see I'm now pointing it towards the X one, it's moving there. And this one is moving it towards the Y, so it's moving it there. So you don't even have to remember the names of them. You can just
Oh my
push
God,
the middle
come
mouse
on,
key and
man.
start
How do you
moving
make it
to that axis.
Stop telling us
So
best
what this
axes,
means is like, this
please.
is how most
This
artists
is how to use
You
the
just go like, move it
program.
over there.
I'm
Yeah,
fine.
That's very quick. So because when you, if you
I
don't
have a
use
3D
any
mesh
axes, you're
to
stuck
feed
with
it.
wherever it is in
Patient,
that space,
Phoenix,
like in the
get
distance to the
patient.
camera, if this makes sense.
He's
Like I can
so
only really
boring.
move it, in
Yeah,
that
but he's a
part.
teacher.
If I wanted to
Teachers
bring
are
it closer,
boring.
Teachers are
if
meant
I
to be
didn't know
hot.
the axes, I would have to go and go, okay, top view.
No, they're
Bring it all
not.
the
Teachers
way
are meant
down.
to
Yeah, which you
awaken
can do,
sexuality
but
while
it's
also
much
trying to
quicker
teach you like
to be able to
equations that you
just
never
stay
pay attention to or
oriented
use
where you
later
are
on in
and just say,
life.
like, right. Like if I want to put it like right over there, I can just go like.
Phoenix, I gotta say, I disagree.
Like very easy. If I want to put it like directly above the corner of that. So it's a really easy, simple way of working. So
I'm
it's
just
one
gonna
of
make
those
a
things like,
UFO.
that's why I like Blender's keyboard shortcuts. They're a little hard to get at first. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of there's a lot of shortcuts going on here. And you've got to remember the middle mouse button all the time or whatever. But
yeah, he's
it's a
not
pretty
doing
fast way of
anything.
working.
I'm getting bored
when you get the
too.
hang of it.
He's
My
just
God,
kind
I
of
just
showing us
realized
what we're
you're doing
doing,
it.
So
guys.
we've discussed
Okay,
scaling
but
with
like,
S.
literally, it's been
and
9
we
minutes and
discussed,
nothing has happened.
axes. So it's very common, like, you're
They
adding,
stop
playing
skipping.
like
We're
this,
probably,
and
like,
okay,
missing
I
yellow.
wanna change
Stop
to
it.
Scale.
Yeah.
So,
That's
personally
that,
know
that's
this
chill.
tutorial.
Oh my God, go
Well,
back, go back.
There
go
is
back.
one final thing.
Woman,
Go back?
What are you doing?
So I just like to just do everything music.
Oh, he's still doing explaining.
That's what I've heard.
What do you want me to do,
Fine.
Phoenix?
Let me get a drink here.
Yeah, we're not going sexual on this. Shut up.
So, great. We've
Hey,
almost
it's
come to
only
the end
you
of this
thinking about
tutorial.
stuff.
Well,
Look,
there is one
I've
final
already
thing I want
warned
to
you
mention,
guys.
though,
90%
and
of what I
that
think
is
is
the
dirty, so I do
modifier
apologize.
stack.
Alright, so we're
if
gonna
you
learn about
go
the modifiers.
Over here to the properties panel,
Nice.
and then click this little wrench.
Click
a
it,
wrench.
guys. Click.
Wrench?
What is it clicking on?
I know none of the names
Oh,
of tools.
Lucy.
Click
It's
that
called
range.
the modifier
I'm sorry, I
panel. So if you
can't
click this,
see.
you can see it's
I'm
completely
deaf,
blank.
remember?
Just
But
watch
if you
my fucking
click,
stream.
this button at the top here, it'll bring this
I'm
drop
watching
down,
you.
which you can use to add a whole bunch of different modifiers. So, modifiers allows you to modify the current object by choosing any of these options.
So
here.
basically go to
And the
wave.
good
Oh my
thing
God,
about
take
this
it off, I don't wanna
modifier
wave.
stack is that it doesn't destruct the mesh. Okay, so for example, this you can see looks pretty blocky, and you're probably thinking, like, come on, when are we going to
You
make
look
it
pretty
look smooth?
lucky.
Well, you can
press
do that by
play.
using the
Play?
very, very common
How do you press
uh,
play?
modifier called
Press
the
There it
play.
is.
subdivision surface modifier. So if you click this, you notice it becomes smoother.
Ooh,
And
it's
if I increase
pretty.
this level here,
I did it. Okay,
like
I
that,
did it.
you can see that it becomes
Damn.
smoother. So
This shit.
the good thing is that you can go back again. So this is what I mean by non-destructive. So because it's a modifier which is like added on top of the object, you have full control over it later on. And don't follow this, but I'm just doing this just so that, to prove a point. So say that I made a torus here, and I made it super high res from the get-go, right? Now, if I later on decided that this is too much, and I'll explain this when we get to rendering later on.
I would glaze
the higher
that
resolution
so
your model
quickly.
is, the longer your render times will be. Now, this won't make much of a difference really in a scene like this because it's very, very low poly right now. We just got a donut sitting on a table. But when you've got a scene with like thousands of objects, when you're making a forest or a desert or anything with lots and lots of objects,
Really? Lots and lots of objects, and
you
you choose
really
a
need to
desert.
keep an eye on the amount of
You said a
information in your mesh.
forest.
So if you were to start
then you
with
said a
super
desert.
high poly mesh, and then later on you go, oh no,
Lots
I
of
need to make
objects
it
would probably
a
be
lot
the sand
smaller. You have
particles,
no
okay?
control over that because it's
Yeah.
now.
Really? You're gonna go sand
We'll
by
discuss
sand?
this in the next
I
video.
think- I
Yeah,
think-
I'll
bitch.
show you now.
They're
This is
called
edit mode,
particles.
and it shows you all of the vertices here. You can't change this. This is now part of the mesh. So modifiers are very cool because they allow you to
Really?
change
We can't
the
change
mesh
anybody.
and have
They
full
are
control
who they
over it.
are.
So I can go,
We
I
can't
can
make
make this
them
high
who we want them
resolution,
to
I
be.
can turn,
As soon as they
turn
come out,
it back.
That's
And then
exactly
later
who
I can
they
just
are.
go,
Who
I
they're
don't
meant
even
to
need
be.
them
We
anymore.
can't
I
change
can
them.
just
We shouldn't
delete.
change them. We shouldn't try and modify
to
them.
explain,
Get
so the
used to it.
subsurface
Ah!
modifier is probably the most
I don't even know what I'm
modifier,
saying.
See, here I am with
that's
just.
ever
I'm
used.
already.
In fact, if you
I'm
have
already
seen
waving.
any animated movie
I'm already
ever,
doing the worm.
probably
Fuck you.
99% of all the objects
It's not like I've
I'm
watched this
trying not to
tutorial
fuck
before.
shit up.
they have a subsurf modifier applied to it. Because what it does is it takes a low poly mesh and then it adds extra geometries between them and it smooths it out. So you can see that this was our basic geometry here, and on the top of this donut here, you can see that little sharp edge there. But if I increase it to one level, it's now there's like 2 extra ones beside it, and it's now smoothed out that curve. And then as you go higher and higher, it's now smoothing out and adding more and more and more geometry, so it becomes smoother and smoother looking. So yeah. So that is the subsurf modifier. So we'll use a few
Oh God,
more,
I added an ocean.
modifiers in the future, but this is a really, really common one, so I did want to start with this. And I did mention at the start of the video I'd show you how to make your donut do the worm. So let's do that right now. So there is a modifier here, and it's called Wave. So if you use Wave, it it really only
Just
makes sense for like a
laugh, though.
flat plane because it can kind of make it do this wavy effect. Sometimes if you want to like simulate a flag thing, it can do that. But in this case, it doesn't really make too much sense. But you can see now I've set it to the only one specific axis, the x-axis. Oh, by the way, I didn't even mention it. To play an animation, if you push any of these buttons down here in the timeline, that'll play the animation. But the keyboard shortcut that just everybody uses is Alt-A. So that was the one that I
What
used
the
there.
fuck?
Anyway, that's a completely pointless thing, but I thought it was a little funny thing that, you know, because I know learning a new software can be pretty boring. So I thought I'd do
Yeah,
something
making
a
it jump up and
little
down.
funny there. Anyways, go ahead now and
Great.
click
Oh my
here
God.
to watch the next video. Oh, and if you like the super high
Whoops.
shortcut that just everybody uses is
Whoop.
Alt.
I gotta show you
You
mine.
gorilla take that? No, why?
In this video, you'll learn how to change the shape
Oh,
of
I
any
remember this
object
one.
by using something called
This was a long
edit.
video.
So we'll talk all about what that is, how to use it, and how you can very quickly deform shapes to make any range of different objects. It's a really, really common function that you use a lot in Blender. So we'll spend a little while explaining this, and we'll use it to create the icing, which is going to rest on top of the donut.
The icing.
And also, just like before, to keep it interesting, if you make it right to the end of the video, I'll show you how to very quickly create an infinite tower of donuts. So,
Can you
welcome.
deliver
You've
that
made
to
it
me,
to
or-
part 3 of this beginner Blender series. So, congratulations, first of all. I know this stuff is pretty dense, pretty dry, and it's probably
bit,
not
buddy.
what you want to do right now. You probably want to go and create some characters or a car or a spaceship. I totally get that. When I started, I was exactly the same. I just wanted to get to the fun stuff. But the trouble is that if you jump immediately to that, you won't really know what to do yet and what to click on and, you know, all that stuff. So, so if you can follow this stuff, you can do this dry, the boring
I
stuff.
think both of our donuts
then
are
you'll
still
know
fatter
exactly
than
what to
his.
do, and you'll be able to apply all these principles,
Yeah.
and you'll be able to make some really, really cool looking stuff. So, yeah, if you can just stay with me right to the end, I'm sure you'll be way better off for it. So,
Oh God, what did I do?
this is where we ended at the end of the last video. So very quickly, I mentioned Subsurf modifier, this thing over here in the last video, which is smoothing out the object. And I mentioned that this value here defines like how smooth that object becomes. But there's really two values here. There's view and there's render. So render is actually the one that counts, because view will only change what is visible to you right now as you're working with it in the viewport, which is this whole thing. So that's really all this is changing. Render is what it will appear in the final render. So basically, generally speaking, most artists keep the view count very low so that Blender is smooth whilst they're working with it, because there's not so much geometry.
It only
And
goes
they,
up to
they
6.
keep the render amount high,
But
so
that
the
shit's
final
awesome.
render has a lot of like very smooth, polished sort of look. So, and also these two buttons up here, like if you turn off that one there, that will disable it for the render. So it like this, it's like basically setting that value to 0. And if you disable that one, it'll disable it for the viewport. Which, so basically, if you have both of those off, it's like having nothing, because it's going to do absolutely nothing. But anyway, I'm going to disable it for the viewport just for this next thing, because we're going to talk about edit mode, and it just helps to, yeah, if we don't have that confusing stuff. Okay, so we've talked, everything that we've done so far up to this point has been done in what's called object mode, which allows you to, like, you could select individual objects, move them about, you can move an entire object, you can, you know, do a whole range of different things, but for the individual objects by themselves. But if you want to actually change the shape of an object, then you need to enter into what's called edit mode. So this is object mode, and the way we enter into edit mode is by pressing tab, okay? And that puts us into edit mode. And if you enter out of that, then and by hitting tab again, that puts you back into object mode. And if, by the way, if you forget the keyboard shortcut, well, first of all, you could get my PDF, which will give you the printable shortcut you can put on your wall.
Thank you.
But also down here in the bottom
just a shortcut.
corner, you can change it to edit mode, just like that, and then switch it back to object mode as well. You've also got other modes here, which we might get to as well, but generally these two are very common. So it's very, you know, common thing in Blender, like, you know, you do some editing, you move it about, do some more editing or whatever, and you're just tapping that tab key to enter in and out of it. So in edit mode, you're only able to work on that specific object. So if I was in edit mode here with my donut and I wanted to select my plane, you can see that I can't do that. Like nothing is actually happening. I can't select it. I would have to exit edit mode, select another object, and then enter into edit mode again. So edit mode is like, it's like isolated mode. We're just looking specifically at this object. You can't do anything else with the rest of your scene. So most of the time, you're working with in scene, you're working with object mode, but then when you want to change the shape of something, you're in edit mode, okay? And I'll just, okay, this is the default value. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. I've actually recorded this tutorial like 4 times now. Every time I've done it, something's gone wrong. Like Skype ramped my microphone volume up, so it was like really distorted. I didn't even know it did that. Oh, so annoying. But anyways, yeah, so some of the values, they changed from the default. Anyways, you don't really care about that. Let's talk about edit mode. So what is it? Now, you look at this, it's sort of what looks like a cage that's appeared over the top of the donut here, right? And if you click on it, you'll see that you can actually, like, it's selecting these little dots. So these dots are what are called vertices. So vertices are the point where they're like tiny, invisible points that are used to make up, the shape of the mesh. So if you have 2 vertices that are connected together, that gap in between it is what's called an edge, okay? And if you have 4 of them that are connected, that makes up what is called a face. So it's sort of like this flat plane object, okay? So this mode that we're in right now, we are selecting the vertices. Now, if we hold down Shift, we can select more than one. Or if we hold down Alt, I can select an entire row of
Hold down Alt.
Yeah, of edges. So
No,
this is an edge
someone else
loop.
joined us.
So I can select
Oh,
that edge
yeah, I
loop,
made
that
it
edge
live.
Loop, that edge loop. So I'm doing that by selecting
Okay.
in between these 2 vertices, which is now
And
detecting.
and the
I wanna
title for the
select
live
Hi,
is to go to my
row.
what's
stream.
that?
And if I select it in between
Hi.
here, you can see. Oops, sorry. We'll get to that.
I
that
turned
mode in a
off
second as well.
video chat.
But you
I
can
don't
see
think
it's now
voice chat
creating
is
a
on
loop
either.
around the middle of the
Fair
donut.
enough.
So you can see, you can select. There's different ways of selecting and working with it. Okay, so that's vertice mode. You can also down
For all
here
these reasons.
in the bottom panel, you've got edge select mode. Okay, so if you change it
I
to
do
that,
now.
that allows you to. You're no longer allowed to click that individual one there. Those are hidden. You're now just
Where's the
working
edge select?
with the edges. Okay. Now, if you don't know like why you would use one over
God,
the
I
other,
think
yet,
I
don't
literally
worry,
looked
it's,
away for 5
it's
seconds,
really-
and it's like I'm learning
when
algebra.
You need it, you'll
It's
know
just
to use it. It's like if you're working on a complex object and like I can't do this thing.
One
Something like that's vertice mode. You can also down here in the
Oh.
bottom panel, you've
oh
got
my
edge
god, just
select.
tell
There it
us how
is.
to make the
Okay, so if you
icing.
change it to that,
Okay.
that allows you
This is so that we know how
you're
to do
no
shit
longer allowed to
later.
click that
I
individual one there.
know.
Those are hidden. You're now just working with the edges. Okay. Now,
But
if you
this
don't know
isn't
like,
gonna
why
help
you
me
would
make
use one over the
character.
other yet, don't
Help me
worry.
make-
Yes, it
It's,
will.
Might
it's really when
It
you
absolutely
use mode to
will.
use it. It's like if you're working on a complex object and like I can't do this thing, you probably switch to edge mode or something like that. Another really common one, I use this more than I use the edge one, is face select mode, and that allows you to select the plane, the face that makes up those things
faces.
there. And again, holding down Alt, I can select a whole edge around it. Holding down Alt and Shift is what will allow me to do that, yeah. Like that. Okay, so you can see there's different ways of selecting. Now, when you've actually selected something, if you push G, it allows you
What
to
the
move
fuck?
it, okay? And all those keyboard shortcuts that we learned before, rotate, scale, all that stuff, that works in edit mode as well, which is a really
what?
cool thing. So I can rotate this, okay? I can scale it. I can move it.
I click G.
Okay?
Yep.
And it's
Oh, God,
really
wait,
good
did I
because you
press
don't have
G?
to
No,
think
G
about
is not a
what
thing. No,
workspace
oh my-
you're in and like what
What?
do I
You
have to
said
enable
G,
this
though.
tool and then come over here and do this thing. Like, no, you can use the exact same shortcuts that you've learned and that you're using everywhere else. So it's a very
God,
nice
I fucked
way
up. I
of
fucked up so
of
bad.
working. Now let's say you wanted to make
Control
like some
Z.
little
Victoria, my
bumps
donut
across
has
the
a
donut.
unicorn
Like, it's looking
horn.
too
It's
smooth
okay.
right
You
now, I
can
wanna
you
make
can
some
Control
bumps.
Z.
Well, if you were to, you're in vertex select mode and you select this one, and maybe this one, maybe this one, make some
It's
little
okay. I
bumps,
made
right?
mine a volcano.
Well, that looks awful, right? Because this doesn't have any relation to the
you
information
should be
around.
able to
Like, these is just like
press G.
bumps that are sticking out. It just
Sorry,
looks
Mom,
awful.
I'll shut
It
up.
looks very, very handmade.
No.
So what you could do is if you push the O key on your keyboard, that will enter you into proportional editing mode. Now, if you move like this, you can see that you've got this circle that appears around your selection. And if I use the scroll wheel on my mouse,
It
I am
really is
now
one of those
affecting
programs that, like,
a larger
once you
or smaller
start learning how to
area
do it, it
of
kind of gets
influence as
easier
I
the
do
more you
that.
do.
And this works across, again,
Yeah.
all
And
of
it
that
seems
stuff.
like it's
So
really easy
rotating,
to
I can
use
make some
if you
really
don't get
cool looking
confused.
shapes like that, you know. Okay, then I can scale. Scaling does the same thing.
Waka waka waka
You know,
waka.
you can
waka,
very
waka,
quickly,
waka,
just with these tools,
waka, waka,
you can make some weird.
gonna make a
I don't know.
pretzel?
Well, this is like an abstract building. It's probably a museum. They always have the weirdest looking buildings. Okay, let's pull that back. You know, Blender didn't used to have an undo function. Like when I started Blender, like I re-downloaded Blender 2.3 or something the other day just to get some screenshots or whatever. And I was trying to use it. There's no undo function. So it's like if you made a mistake, it was like, that's your fault, man. You deal with it. And like Blender users at the time were actually against it. That's the craziest thing. People were like we want an undo function. And they're like, you shouldn't need an undo function.
Ah,
Realize,
haha,
don't
you're
need-
watching some
they
tutorial I
don't
was
need
doing last
undo
week in Blender.
functions.
The donut.
It's the craziest thing.
Yeah,
It's
the
like a punishing
donut,
workflow.
James. What's up?
Like, yeah, just removes all trust of the program, you know. Anyways, it's another story. So anyway, so if you wanted to make like bumps along your donut, you could just use this proportional fall off, just make some little bumps. Isn't that cool? And there's also different modes of proportional fall off as well. Like by default, it's set to smooth down here, but you could change it to sharp, which will create like peaks, like that. Or you could change the like to sphere. Now it creates like these sort of like bubbles. Or there's even like constant, so it's like very very weird. You can do some fun stuff, and then random, which
Too much.
although it seems like that would be a really bad one, it's actually a good one. And we're actually going to use it on the icing in the next part, I think. But
I don't know anything about
anyways.
Blender. I'm at work, but I'll
So
hang for a
yeah,
while.
so that's that.
Nice.
Now, okay, so I've spoken about how you can select by holding down Alt and clicking, but there's other ways to select as well. So if you want to select, like let's say I want to select half of this mesh right now, well that would be really annoying to go like. Well, thankfully, if you push B on your keyboard, and then left click drag, that's called box select. Okay. And if you, with the same tool, if you push B, but instead of left click select, you middle mouse,
Alright,
scroll
James,
wheel,
sounds good.
middle mouse, it now deselects that.
Whoops.
Okay, so again, left click allows you to select different parts of it, and then middle mouse deselects it.
So,
Okay, so that's a really
B,
fast way of working. And as well as that,
this,
did I
middle mouse,
mention,
wait.
I probably didn't even mention deselect. Hopefully you've been able to read that I'm pushing A. Sorry I did not mention that. It's a lot to remember for this
B,
tutorial.
this.
But
There we
A selects all, and then pushing it again deselects everything. Very sorry I didn't mention that, but I'm hoping that you're able to read it there at least. So yeah, so you make a whole mess of everything, and then you just push A. Yeah, so you just tap that a lot whilst you're working. You do some stuff, and then get out of it, And that by the way, that works in every mode, just like that. Anyways, so okay, so that's box select. Box select. Sorry, I entered that that mode again. Sorry, I shouldn't have done that. We'll get to that in a second. But as well as that, there is C, and C is circle select, and that allows you to like paint over the mesh. Like
I think this will be good for us
and
when
if
we
you push
do that.
middle mouse button again,
when
just
we
like
use the pen
before,
for it.
you're now deselecting parts of it. So it's like painting, deselect. So it's actually a really, like it sounds extraneous at first, like, oh my gosh, I have to remember left click, middle mouse. But once you get used to it, it's a really fast way of working. Because like other software, there's a tool for selecting, and there's maybe a tool for deselecting. You got to hold down Shift and click each one, or but
It's
Blender
like
is
the damn monkey
like,
catch up.
yeah, it feels a little
Saying
weird at
though,
first,
like
gotta
first time I
remember
did
everything.
it, I
But
fucked
once you've
up
done it, you
so
can work
much.
really,
I
really
had to
fast. Like you
fucking
can,
start over that part of
the-
the tutorial.
select that area, deselect that. It's a fun way of working. Fun, fast, whatever. Okay, now the other thing you might have noticed, like if I'm in this, like this view, and I paint this, you can see that if I rotate around, there's parts of this mesh that it hasn't selected, okay? So you've got this ring here and this part over here. And the reason for that is that from this view, it can't see those vertices over there. So these are solid faces, and you can't actually select them. So there are two ways of getting to that. One, actually, let's just turn this off so we're not in proportional fall off. If you click down here to change it from limit selection to visible, if you click that, you're now, it's kind of like an X-ray, like you're able to see through the mesh. And now when I paint, I'm selecting everything on both sides of the mesh there. Okay, so you can see it doesn't matter about where the faces are or if you're looking through it or whatever. So that little box there allows you to select through it. But as well as that, there is what I've been pushing accidentally without telling you. This mode that we're in right now is called solid view mode. But if you change it from solid view mode to wireframe mode, it removes all the faces, and it's like you're just seeing the skeleton of the original mesh. So so from this view, like I could very quickly like make my selections of what I want to do. You know, so it's very common to enter into this this wireframe mode. So there's a shortcut which is Z, and that enables you to very quickly see through the mesh and see the data without any of the face information in between it. So that's it. So it's tab to enter in and out of object mode. You know, okay, there's no, by the way, there's no edit mode for cameras or lights. It's just the actual meshes or a few other objects as well. And then when you're in edit mode, or also, by the way, if you're in object mode, you can push Z, and that removes the faces as well. But then, yeah, when you're in here, you can see through it by pushing Z, or Z if you're American. Let me get another drink here.
Let me get another drink here.
Bitter. Oh, Assam Bold. I guess, you know, it's not false advertising. By golly, I think I left a tea bag in there for like 10 minutes. It's probably why. Holy moly. Oh, that is astringent. Anyways, so this is how you work in edit mode. I hope I'm not dwelling on this too long. Let's talk about what we came here to do, which was to make some icing for the top of our donut, okay? Now, there's a number of ways that you could do this. You could make it, you know, you could start with a completely separate object, like, you know, don't follow this, I'm just going to show you as an example. Like, you could start with a cube, you know, which is crazy, go into edit mode, and then, you know, I haven't showed you this yet, but this is called extruding, which is like, you extrude part of the mesh. Like, you could do this, and then, like, you know, add a subsurf, and like it looks kind of like icing, but that would be a really bad way of working, because you can see, like, it doesn't match the donut very well. And so really, like, it's a way that you'll start to think, like, when you're making stuff. Like, if you've got two objects that are going to be interacting together, which in the case of, like, you've got a donut, right, like that, and then you got icing. Well, the icing is going to be matching the exact shape of the donut, almost exactly, right? So you should be able to steal the data, take some data from the object that you want to match to create the other object. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the top half of this donut here, we're going to duplicate it, make it its own separate object, and then we're going to make it look like icing. Hopefully within the next 5 minutes. Let's do everything at the last minute. So there's a number of ways you could do it. Like, for one, you could hold down Alt-Shift and then just select these edges like this. Okay, but that involves a lot of clicking, okay? What I would suggest, which is a quicker way of working, is if you're just in front view mode like this, if you go and enter into wireframe mode by hitting Z, then if you push B, drag the box tool over the top, and you've now selected the top half of that mesh there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate it. And the way you do that in Blender, this works for duplicating objects as well as in edit mode. Shift D. Shift D. Now when we drag it out, you can see we have got the original object there. And if you want to keep it in its original place, if you hit Escape, now it's it snapped it to that donut there, back to its original position. Now, if you were to leave this here, this would actually be one of the worst things you could do, because what you've got, if I exit out of this, don't do this, by the way. But if I did this, what you've actually got is you've got vertices on top of vertices. You've actually got duplicates. And this is really bad because you've got a face now on top of another face. When it comes to rendering, it doesn't know which face to render. So you'll get this flickering thing that happens in the render. And that's
Okay,
the
a
absolute
clipping
worst
texture.
thing that can happen.
Hello.
You never want that to happen, okay? Now, if you were in this, like, say you hit escape and now you've lost it, okay? Now when you click here, like, which one are you selecting? Which part of the mesh are you actually selecting here? It's very hard to tell. So there's two things you could do. One, you could, try and undo it, go back to where you were and get the original thing. Or you could, if you push L, what that'll do is it will select any mesh which is linked to it. So in this case, we've selected the donut. So now we're able to extract the other one on top of it. But what I'm hoping to do instead, though, let's see. I select that one, Control L. There we go. Now I've selected just that one now. Okay, so this is kind of advanced stuff, really. I didn't really expect to get to this. But I know that, if we repeated that again, like if we hit like this, then we hit escape, some people might accidentally click something else and then they're stuck. It's like, what am I supposed to do now? How do I get that back again? Because you don't know now what you're actually selecting. So you could select, one thing here, hit Control L. You've now got that one there, which, in this case, you could maybe click that. Actually, I wouldn't know. Or you could select like one of those, then hit Control L, and now I've got that one there again. Okay, so that's what you would do. All right. By the way, if you ever found in your final render, this is another side note, just to take up even more of your time. If it was flickering in your render, and for whatever reason you don't know why that is, if you hit Remove Doubles, Blender will actually perform an action where it analyzes the mesh. Like I'll just do it now. And it removes duplicates. So if you've got vertices on top of vertices, it'll remove it for you. But yeah, that's like as a last resort, I guess. Okay, anyway, sorry, let's get on with it. So we've got the top of our little donut here. Okay, so we've got the top of this donut. Now I want to make this its own separate object. We could keep it as its own object here, but it's very hard, and as I mentioned, it's very hard to select one or the other. So I want to make it its own object. The way you do that in Blender is by pushing P. And this will bring up separate by what. And the most common one you always use is by selection. So it's taken that selection, and if I exit out of object mode, now if I click here, you can see that it's now its own separate object. So we now no longer have that problem of like, which half of the donut am I selecting?
Why does it look
because now they're their own separate object. Okay, now we've made them their own separate objects, but there is still a conflict. And if we were to render this right now, we would have that problem I mentioned, where faces are hitting on other faces. So you never want to have the exact same mesh or the same vertices, or it's mostly just the same face,
There we go.
in the exact same position like what we've got right now. Because it's a physical impossibility in the real world. Two things can't exist in the same space. So the digital program doesn't know how to deal with this. So you want to fix this. So in our case, we want to take this from being, if we look at it from this side, like you can see it's hollow underneath there, right? So you want to take it from that space, and you want to make it an actual thick object. So we want to give this some thickness. A couple of ways you could do that still. One is if you went into edit mode, you could extrude. Now, don't worry about this. We're going to get to this later on, and this isn't the method we're going to use for this. But if I hit E, I can extrude this, and then I would maybe hit S, scale it out a little bit or something. Okay? Like that is now, it's given it some thickness, it's got some weirdness going on in there, but it's done the desired effect. But you can see if I go into edit mode now, I've now got a duplicate. I've got vertices underneath it, and I've got vertices over here. And if I later on realize, like, oh, that thickness is too much on this donut here. That thickness is too much. I would have to individually go here and like
It's too thick though.
select just this part, not the rest of the mesh, and it will
Sorry.
be very, very
too
annoying.
thick.
You're trying to learn,
So
shut
as
up.
I mentioned before about keeping a destructive or non-destructive
Try
workflow, like
not
when you
to.
do stuff in
Yeah.
editing, stuff like that, you don't have a lot of control over it later on. So whenever possible, you want to try and use a modifier. And it just so happens that we have one in the modifier stacker, and it is called the Solidify modifier down here. So if you click that, you won't have noticed much has changed because it has probably Yeah, so if you go in wireframe mode, you'll see that there's actually, like, this is before and this is after. So it's created a thickness to it. It's done what I just did before. It's extruded it, but you now have control over it. You can change this thickness here. Now, it's actually placed it on the wrong side, so we can't see it. So if we change this offset to be all the way to 1, now it's pushing it out rather than sucking it in. So now, increase this thickness. We can change how thick we want that icing to be. Okay, really thick dollop, like really caked on there.
Thick dollop.
Probably a donut people pay a lot of money for. I imagine that'd be like a trend. Like I could see that as like a trend in New York or something. I don't know why I think New York, but like I imagine that'd be it. Like you could call it like caked donuts, donuts that are like caked in icing, with like a kilo of icing on top of your donut or something. I could see that becoming a trend. Anyway, so you can have like really, really super thick, or you can change it here. So later on, when you're working in your scene, you go like, oh, I don't like the thickness of that icing. Just change it. Super easy because you've got this modifier here. Now, the other thing to note, if I turn on the subsurf tool again, the modifier here, so everything looks a little bit smoother, you can change the order of your modifiers. So what it does is it reads it from top to bottom. Okay, so where it is right now, it's starting with the subsurf, and then it's adding the solidify on top of it. So we're starting with the smooth mesh, and then it's doing the solidify after that and pushing it out. But if I push this up arrow, it's now pushed that solidify modifier on top of the subsurf, which means that now the edge of this icing has become smoother because it's performed the smoothing action after the solidify action, if that makes sense. So now when I turn this up, you can see we've got like this smoothed edge to it, okay? Which, you know, it looks a little weird underneath there. Let's go into perspective mode. Yeah, you've got a bit of a gap there, but, you know, from this angle, you can't really see it. So, you know, it's really up to you. So this, I'm really just saying this to demonstrate that there's an order to the subsurf modifiers. Okay, so it reads it again, top to bottom. Oh my goodness, what a long video. Must be sick of it. All right, let's do something fun, which is what I mentioned at the start of the video,
Fun stuff.
which is make a tower of donuts. And this is to demonstrate
Do you want to make the
another
tower of
really
donuts? Do you want me to skip
common
it, Phoenix?
modifier in Blender, which we won't really have a use for in this tutorial, but it's called the array modifier.
I'm
So
looking
with
at
this
the chat,
donut here, the
tell me.
bottom one selected, if I go add modifier and I select array,
Okay, cool.
you can see that it's created another donut next
Wait,
to it.
what does
And
that mean?
if I increase
Keep on to
this
the next
count,
one. Alright, cool.
you can
What
see
is he doing?
He was making an infinite tower. We're not going to worry about that. Phoenix Nerd here for the fun.
For a reason why?
Yeah, he does it as like a way
Welcome
to like
part 4
make it
of the
funner,
Blender Beginner
so that it's
series.
not just like- he's
In
like,
this
"What? Make the
video,
donuts."
You will
No,
be
we're not gonna
learning
make the donuts.
about materials.
Ooh, this is the one I
Very,
haven't
very
seen.
important topic, which is all about adding color, shading,
Ooh.
and life, actual life to your objects, so they actually start to resemble something
this is
you'd
gonna
see
be
in
nice.
the real world, not something you'd see on a computer screen. So we'll be talking all about that, materials, and how to use the material node editor, which is a new part of Blender we haven't explored yet, but it's very common. Something that you'll be
Material
using a lot in
node
the future
editor.
whenever you're making a character, an object, or anything at all. Everything always uses materials and the material node editor. And since I know this one is a little long, if you make it to the end as something completely fun and as a bonus, I'll show you how to make the icing on your donut look like radioactive goo. So here we are. This is where we left off in part 3. Now everything that we've done up until this point has been just related to 3D objects, like this 3D viewport, this area that we're in right now. But now that we're going to get into materials, we need to talk about rendering because we haven't mentioned that yet. So if you've been wondering, like, when are we actually going to start making this thing look cool? Like, when can I make an image out of it that I can post on Facebook or whatever it is? I do that as well, by the way. You can share your stuff online. You don't have to feel guilty about that. That's called rendering. So this area we're in, this viewport, moving stuff around, this is just so that you can build your scene. To actually make it look pretty, to make it look like the final image, you need to render it. So rendering is when you take all the information you've got here, these 3D objects, and it calculates the lighting, it calculates the materials, the textures, all that stuff, and it builds the final image that looks pretty and everything. So that is called rendering. Now you might have noticed that there's a button here we haven't pressed yet, and it says render. So let's go ahead and click that.
What? What? Where's that button?
Great, look awful, right? What an awful looking image. Really, the only thing that's changed is it's got shadow here. We haven't got
see a
textures
render
or
button.
materials or anything yet, so that's why it's there. So this is what it looks like.
Hold on. What did he press? What the fuck did he press? I didn't see it. Is it this one? Do we know what he pressed? Help? I need assistance. Wait. Wait, what did he press?
Rendering. So this area we're in. So right now we've got shadow here.
Sorry.
We haven't got textures or material. One is a little long. We're in and lighting. It calculates the materials.
It says
the textures,
render right there,
all that
but where is the thing? Rewind the tape. Yeah, no, I know. Where's the thing? I don't see it. Like, it's supposed to be here. But it is not.
Probably have an updated thingy, so.
What?
Doesn't that shit update?
Well, yeah, but mine would be the newest.
Right, so what is it using?
I can't fucking see. This is 2.78. It's the same one.
Then why the fuck's your
What the
button?
fuck did I do? Hold on. What? Okay, hold on. Let's do this, cause see, it's gone on mine too. It's gone on my other one too. What the fuck?
What are you looking for?
The render button. Do you know where it is, Phoenix? Am I missing something?
Maybe it's like a
Did you
toolbar
press it?
that is disabled by default.
Why would it be disabled? Doesn't make sense.
I don't know.
Render
Programs,
layers?
Probably.
The fuck? How do you do? How? How do you do? You know, he's probably gonna have a shortcut for it. Might as well just keep watching.
stuff, and it builds the final image that looks pretty and everything. So that is called rendering. Now you might have noticed that there's a button here we haven't pressed yet, and it says render. So let's go ahead and click that. Great, look awful, right? What an awful looking image. Really, the only thing that's changed is it's got shadow here. We haven't got textures or materials or anything yet, so that's why it's there. So this is what it looks like when you have rendered an image. Now something, excuse me for a second, let me get a little drink. Not drink as in like alcohol, but it's not whiskey. It's Earl Grey. I go hard for my tutorials. Okay. So what it's done here, it's just calculated the lighting and the shadows. That's basically it, and a little bit of reflection on there. Now, doing this, it has used a rendering engine. So if you remember at the start, the introduction to 3D stuff, we spoke about 3D software. 3ds Max, Maya, Blender, all that kind of stuff. So Blender is the 3D program which is used to make the stuff that, to make and design the scene like we've been doing currently. But when it comes to rendering, making the final image, that's actually a separate piece of software. So it's kind of like when you first get into 3D, you make all this decision about choosing your software, and then later on you discover I also have to choose my rendering engine. And I don't want you to get overwhelmed here, but there's a lot of rendering engines. If you look on Wikipedia, I think there's probably over 100. It seems like every week there's a new rendering engine, all boasting some new feature. And a lot of them fade away, but some of them stick around. But anyway, I say this because there's actually more than one rendering engine in Blender. And I want to talk about the difference between them and why you should choose one over the other. So you can see that at the top of our screen here, we've got something that says Blender Render. That is the rendering engine that it is using currently. Now this one here, Blender Render, its real name actually is the internal rendering engine. I don't know why it's called Blender Render there, but anyways, that's the one that it's using right now. But if you click the drop down, you can see there's actually two others. Like there's Blender Game, which I've never touched before. I assume it's for making games. And the other one is the Cycles rendering.
You just press render
so the
image.
Cycles rendering one is the new
On
engine,
the side to the top left.
that came out about 5 years ago.
Kill me.
So the render, this one at the top here, internal rendering engine, it's been with Blender since the very start. So since like the 90s, and it uses an older style of calculation, whereas this Cycles one uses a new style. So let's just change to Cycles.
Yeah,
Just switch
at
to
the
a
top
new
left
render.
That's
Render
what I was trying to
slots, by
figure
the
out. I
way,
thought maybe
are a
you
good way
figured
of
it out or
comparing
something, and that's why I was asking.
So if you've done a render and then you want to see, like, change a setting and see what else it will look like, if you change the render slot,
So it was like a
or a
toolbar
shortcut
thing.
for that, by the way, is J. Download my keyboard shortcut if you don't want to have to remember all these keyboard presses. Now, if we do another render, take a look at that. This is the render that we get with Cycles, okay? I promise we'll get to the materials soon, by the way. Like, I know that this is like, come on, I thought we were doing materials. We will, okay. So this is the internal, and then this is Cycles. Now, you might prefer one over the other. You might be like, oh, this one looks too washed out and contrasty. And this one looks better because it's contrasty.
Different.
But really, that's just a difference in light value that maybe is having that effect. But in this internal one, you'll notice that the shadows are completely black. And if you actually mouse over it, it's solid black. Now, that's actually physically impossible in the real world. Especially in this lighting setup, you wouldn't have solid black. There's always light that would bounce off this table here, and it would hit the donut. So this old style of rendering will not calculate bounce lighting. So if you want to create anything that looks photorealistic or even slightly realistic,
it has a
Cycles,
game engine.
This one here is a much better choice because Cycles calculates that. Cycles does a lot of other things differently as well. It has like more accurate volumetrics. It has like subsurface scattering, which I guess is more accurate. Translucent, like it's a newer approach. So the old approach doesn't calculate any of that stuff. So Cycles was a completely new rendering engine, rewritten from the start to use newer styles of rendering. Okay, so that's the difference between them. So the main one, the one that you should be using from now on, is Cycles. Now, some people will say, oh, what about, what's wrong with internal? A lot of people still use internal rendering engine. Right, maybe like 2 to 5% of the community probably still use it. Because there is some advantages. Like one, you'll notice that the Cycles render here took 6.5 seconds, whereas the internal rendering engine took half a second. So if you're rendering a lot of frames,
What if
a lot of people, especially people in like
What if
TV,
I
if they
want
work
go
for
back?
a TV station doing commercials or something like that, some people still prefer the internal rendering engine because it's very good if you're on a tight deadline and you just want to quickly render. But Cycles, like if you're going to be following tutorials, especially online, everybody's nowadays uses Cycles. So switch to Cycles. That's my whole point. Switch to Cycles, and then you can actually follow along. All right. Gosh golly. Whew. All right. I've recorded this tutorial like 6 times now.
How do you?
Trying to explain that
Damn,
bit on
6
rendering
times.
engines.
How do you go back?
I hope that sort of explained it a little better. All right. Okay.
What if I don't
So
wanna render right now?
now that we've done that, now we can actually get into the materials.
How does he go back?
Okay, so to demonstrate the first material, I want to just
What?
do it for the donut underneath, okay? And I just want to
What?
see just the donut. I want
What?
to hide the icing. And I'm not sure if I've mentioned this before, but hiding in Blender can be done by selecting an object and pressing
Were we supposed
H.
to duplicate the
Okay, and
window?
when you do that, it's hidden, and you can do it for multiple
Fix!
objects. And then if you want to bring it back, you can push Alt-H, okay? And it brings everything back. So now there are layers down here, which we'll talk about in the future. But for
Okay,
now,
I'm just gonna
this is just a
Control
temporary
C.
way of hiding something, okay? And while we're at it
See?
as well, let's move the
I'm just
lighting.
gonna Control Z.
Let's just position it
Just rewind it,
directly
what are you
over the
doing?
top of our donut there,
How much
so that
did
we can
I-
actually see it better.
What?
Okay, now if we want to change,
Oh my God.
if we want to set a material for our donut,
Open.
you would go over
this.
here to the right in the property bar.
Open. I'm just gonna
and
reopen
then,
it.
click on material right there. And then let's just select new. Okay, now it's added some, default
You're both
settings
lost,
here.
so you should
So where it
rewind.
says color, let's change that to be orangey yellow.
Okay, hold on, Fee. I'm about to rewind.
Like that, like a donut, I guess.
Oh, you're putting her
Haven't
to
seen a
sleep.
donut in a
She's
while.
falling asleep.
I assume they're still.
All right. Well, you know what? We learned how to make the donut part of the donut. Did you want to? Jeez.
Aw.
Well, Phoenix, buy a fucking book then. Buy a book on Blender. Okay. Don't you book Josh? It's okay. It's okay. I'm a fan of this kind of tutorial because he's like one of the only voices I don't hate.
God, here we go.
Hey guys, I'm
Just
Carly
saying,
Kloss.
okay? Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Plus, oh no, don't say it.
Yes.
Don't,
Girls shit on
don't say it. Nope. No.
You should make it a macro. I can make it a macro. I'm making right now.
Don't.
It takes a bit
I
of effort.
don't like it. It's not an Aussie fetish. I don't have an Aussie fetish. I don't. I don't have an Aussie fetish.
Not Aw.
I have a Scott fetish, not an Aussie fetish. Shut up. No, I don't. Oh my god, stop. Fucking Ziz with like, I got you. Is it prefer or prefer?
Prefer?
Prefer? Prefer?
Prefer? What do you think? No, it's
Prefer?
the first one. No, stop. You were right the first time.
Yeah, but Scott's so cute. Streamer
It's the kid.
FU1212Y is Scottish. Really? Are they cute though? It's the kill, isn't it? Open access. Absolutely. You heard it here first, folks. I fucking love Scottish people, and I want to marry one. No, but he has the what? The brogue? What is that? What's the brogue? Questions need to be answered. See, Lucy, that fucking emote goes with your name so well.
No, it doesn't. Do it.
What happened to the fucking crab, by the way?
Hey, look. Probably.
The thick Scottish accent is called brogue. Really? Oh. I love them Scots. See, no, the Scots have like a harsher, they have a harsher accent,
In Brooklyn?
and I love it.
No.
like Irish people, their accents are so like happy, and I don't like it.
You don't like happy people?
I don't like happy accents. I would love a Scot that was happy because it would sound so good. Yeah, Scots would be a sexy happy. Potato.
Oh my god.
That is your goal. Jesus. Jeez, Phoenix. Oh my god.
That's amazing. Totally support your goal.
Patreon goals.
Bella, run. Run.
Okay, so I think the tutorial's over for now because Phoenix is falling asleep and having to watch all those tutorials again
It's
kinda
9 p.m.
ruined me.
or 8.
So, what should we do instead? What should we do then? So, Falling because the tyrant that is my mother says no talking. Look,
Just
the
whisper.
tyrant that is good luck on your Scott. Thank you. Thank you, James. Thank you for being so supportive about me preferring Scottish people over any kind of human being.
Just whisper. I don't know.
She can't just whisper. I'm too funny for that.
Mm. Right? See, told you.
See? I'm funny.
Yeah.
I made you laugh.
Well, you can't know that because we can't hear it.
I'm Canadian, but wait, what did he say? You're Canadian, but everyone just laughs at your accent. Aw, that's so mean, eh?
Hey.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You probably hear that all the time.
Crap.
Which is totally understandable, and I feel bad for the fact that you have to deal with that all the time, and I try not to be that person, but the thing is that I have a rule that I will be that person once, with your permission. Oh, it's like, what's happening right now? Nothing new, just us being us. Fucking being Stopes. I've never heard of anyone saying the Canadian accent is sexy. She's never sorry, man. I'm always sorry, Phoenix. The Canadian accent is basically an American accent, but like sorrier. So,
Oh my god.
I mean, you know, it just sounds like you're more sorry.
Such assholes, man.
I regret nothing. OMG, what the fuck? What, sorrier? Yeah! Wait, what?
What the fuck is cheesy ramen?
Dude, what?
I'm concerned.
Cheesy ramen? Can
Are
I
those cheese slices?
can I have some?
No, that looks unacceptable. No, what the fuck is that? I'm dying. My Asianness. This is.
Mocked for her accent. Yeah, no, here's the thing. If you have an accent, and I know about it, and I know what it sounds like, I will make fun of that accent for sure. Not like
Actually,
make fun of, but I will attempt to impersonate it. Or something, words. So, you know, like with Phoenix, sometimes if I'm feeling, you know, what's it called, confident enough, I'll go ahead and try to do an Australian accent. Lately, when I've tried it, it's been really bad, so I'm not gonna do it. Canadian is really bad, right now. Scots, I'm too... Phoenix, I'm not gonna do it. I can't, I'm not good right now. You have to give me something to say. No, but like, give me a sentence. Give me a sentence and I'll do it. Okay? Because I feel like I can do better as I go throughout the sentence. Because it starts off American and then it just kind of turns into Australian. Okay. Okay. Fuck, how do you say that? Can you say it for me real quick?
Fine.
Phoenix. No.
I am Victoria, and here is my accent.
Yeah, no, that's not your accent.
I'm trying to make you do it. If I go first, you're not going to follow it.
Say it.
I am Victoria, and here is my accent.
Oh fuck. Okay. See, the "here's my accent" part doesn't sound too bad, but saying my own name sounds shitty.
Because of that R. The R.
Yeah.
You can always just say wallabies.
Like Irish say fuck. I know, right? I am Victoria. And here.
Here is my handle, and here is my spell.
Victoria. Here is my accent. You murdered my language. Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Aw.
I couldn't. I don't feel Victoria great. I know, right, Jim? This is good. I'm sorry. No, I don't feel confident enough to do it right now. I'll butcher it.
You already did.
Wallaby. Okay? Victoria.
You forgot the R at the end.
Victoria.
Okay, you're even doing that one wrong.
Yeah, I know.
Victoria.
Victoria. Victoria.
There you
Victoria. I'm hating my own name. I don't get how you guys are okay with saying my name.
How do you say my name?
What?
Wait, come
It's
back.
Lucy. What?
Phoenix.
How else would you say Lucy?
Shh. Okay.
Lucy.
Why does
Lucy.
that look cute? It's not supposed to look.
Lucy.
Okay, we're not British.
Wait, I'm saying it the way you're spelling it.
Lucy. No, don't bring up the typos people make.
Lucy.
You Volpe. Don't.
Lucy.
Bad Volpe.
Pussy.
It's just.
No, there are so many
straightforward.
typos.
Lucy.
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 You
Like
emphasize
blue.
my name.
You can't
What?
say
And then
Lucy
okay.
with an accent. It's just Lucy.
You can't say Lucy.
Oh my god, James, no. Did you
Can
see
you
that?
make
Liz?
things back?
See, the Phoenix,
my
did you
name?
see what he just said? Crikey, that's a blooming bonzer. Which is not your accent at all.
What the hell does that mean? That's so Australian. I don't understand. Please someone translate.
Okay, firstly, bonza isn't a thing.
Bonds. It's not?
No, a bonza isn't a thing.
Okay.
Jeez.
That's a blooming bonzer.
And we don't say crikey.
Crikey.
Steve Owen did that, and that was it. He did that. That's his language.
It means you're fair dinkum.
Yeah, fair dinkum's just something else. Crikey isn't the same. Crikey is like holy shit.
You're fair.
Fair dinkum's
dinkum.
like fair enough.
Fair dinkum.
Oh my god.
Fair.
What is happening?
Sorry.
G'day, mate. You're really fair dinkum.
Good eye, mate.
Damn me, you're fair dinkum.
I think Vic just wants to play Vic over and over
It
again.
can go even further. G'day, mate. That Sheila's real right cracking.
I feel like you're putting it on.
I'm really not. That's exactly what you need to say.
That's exactly.
What does that mean?
Sissy has his own weird words. Yes, they are weird words. I see. Here's the thing. When I work on my Australian accent, it's because I hear something somebody says, or I'm talking to myself for some reason, and I'm like, if Phoenix said it, it'd sound like this, and then I say it, but in her accent. Like that time that I did the Target closing announcement in her accent.
Which was fantastic.
What? Accurate. I have to get Chesterfield and watch hockey. What? Get on the Chesterfield and watch hockey? What does that even mean? Is that because you're Canadian? True. Trophy. True. What was the Target closing announcements? Fuck. It was. It's gonna start off American, okay? Because I can't say good evening. What? Wow. I'm gonna dab that one. Okay. Alright. I can't. I'm not confident enough.
Do it. Go ahead.
Good evening. Our store registers will be closing in 15 minutes. Please make your final selections and bring your items to the registers located at the front of the store. We'd like to remind you that our closing hours tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. Thank you for shopping at Target and have a nice evening.
Wait, what accent is that? What?
It was
I
bad.
need to let you know, Victoria, that's not Australian, that's New Zealand.
Whoops!
Yeah, that's New Zealand.
I'm a Kiwi. I'm a Kiwi.
Kiwi.
My bad. Is it because of the way I say Target? Probably
No,
is.
it's because of the way you said the E's. Like
How did I say the
Even?
E's?
Steven is not how you say 7 in whatever Australian accent. That.
I didn't say 7.
You know, what?
8 a.m. or 12 a.m.? What E's? Target?
No, you said
Target?
No, that was another one.
Holy, is there a Target down there? Of course there is. Say what? Say Fush and Chups?
Look.
Fush. Nah, and Z for fish and chips, Fush and Chups.
Yeah.
So is it because I'm going like long on the E's?
Yes.
So, how do you do short E's? Because Phoenix is still Phoenix. Change your I to E and you're good. Evening Target guesses. We'd like to remind you that our shopping hours tomorrow are from 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. Thank you for shopping at Target.
Oh my god, I need to protect my neighbors.
Evening.
It's remind, as in if you're just saying it very quickly, reminder.
But
What? Reminder?
but if you're being like super professional, like
It's still the same.
really,
Yes.
would like to remind. No, I don't like it. I'm not gonna do it. I like Tay a fashion shapes.
That.
That's what James just wrote.
No way.
Like to eat. 8 or 8? 8? As in like
It's,
8?
I like to eat.
8?
I like to eat fish and
8.
chips.
Fish and chips.
Fish and chips.
Wait, are you showing me New Zealand or Australia? I can't tell.
Both.
Okay. No. New Zealand. Australian is just no. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, let's do Scottish instead. Scottish
I
is
hate you.
easier.
Do a Scottish accent. Do a
Wait.
Scottish accent.
Phoenix, you can do a New Zealand accent?
Oh my god.
Like fully?
I'm sure she would refuse to,
Probably.
even if she could. Alright.
Probably.
Give me something that sounds Scottish, James. Help me out.
We hate them. Shit.
This has turned into just kind of like a chat stream, which is nice.
Wait, okay, so why exactly do you not like them? You don't know.
But
I asked
wow,
the question,
friends,
but I wasn't
mooch.
able to, and you
Er,
did not.
friends, mooch. Get mom earplugs, they work wonders. Nah, her ears can't take that much dick. I am sorry. Oh my god. That was so rude.
How did
Don't. I know. I apologize. I'm so sorry.
just asking so many questions?
I'm so sorry,
Yo,
Phoenix.
Vic, you need to chill.
I
What are you doing?
apologize. I formally apologize.
She says as she's laughing.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That just like came out of me. That's how you know I'm tired. Like like I don't get this sassy unless I'm this tired.
You made me feel sleepy with that dude too.
I can what the fuck, James? I can speak with a Scottish accent. I can't. No, that didn't sound good. No, I need like an actual phrase. Scottish phrases. Wits for yell no. Wait, what? Wits for yell no go past you. What? You're a wee scunner. She's up to hide though. Yes, Phoenix. A pretty face suits the dish clue. What does that even mean? Oh, rise up lights. Right, I forgot about that. Rise up lights. Oi! Don't be a weakly clipe. Your bum's out the window. your bum's out the window. That's my favorite. That is my favorite.
To the window.
Your bum's out the window. Your bum's out the window. I'm going to the pictures. Oh my god.
Going to the pictures.
Yeah. Oh,
So you're
let's see.
taking a photo.
I'm going to the pictures. It means you're going to a movie theater.
The reason I was drawn to St.
I'm getting
Arthur
the
was the
messages.
quality of the beer that still
It's time to get your
remains
jags.
as our number one focus here. We
I'm going to
are
scalp your
passionate
way
about
behind.
putting out the best product we
They're
possibly
fitting.
can.
You're a long time dead. A nod's as good as a wink to a blind horse. Oh, a nod's as good as a wink to a blind horse. I don't know. You're off your head. You're off your hide. How'd you wished? What? Oh, hold your tongue. How'd you wished? Okay. Langmayer Lumrick. I didn't ken. Good gear comes in small bulk. What? Jesus. Okay, I'm gonna keep your tongue on against the cold and your stick on the ice. You're gonna run. Okay, keep your tongues on against the cold and your stick on the ice. I think we should. I was just reading things. I'm sorry, Phoenix. How much time do we have? I have to go to bed by like 5, right? Or 6? 6. What should we do? What should we do tonight? What should we do? Ruby?
Like the game.
Maybe. We haven't played that in a while. It's not immediately on my list of things I would like to play. Stardew, Starbound, Speedrunners, Sims 4.
Yes. Bunch of S's.
There's also Slime Rancher. Castle Crashers, Battle Block. Yeah, I might as well do Slime Ranchers for like the next 4 hours.
4 hours?
Because why not?
Okay.
I feel like I like the idea of playing Slime Ranchers right now, so let's do that. Whatever it is I have to build anyway, I'm silent is helping your stream. Phoenix, you are always helping my stream. Okay, if you're actually gonna leave, feel free to be a mod. Slime Rancher. Because why not? Bye, nerds. Bye, Phoenix. Thank you for joining us. Okay. Lucy?
What?
I think I had my sound off. I don't know if you were saying things.
I was saying things.
You were?
Ish.
Whoops. Because why not? Update. Oh, I forgot to add the Discord thing. Boop. Discord. I forgot the other thing. There we go. AC. Alright, so we'll switch to thing. What's my password? I have 3 items in my inventory. 3. Emily Caldwin. I've got 2 Emily Caldwin cards. See, now you've gotten me stuck, James. Fuck. Okay, let's do this. Very special. Oh, I forgot something.
What?
I'm streaming on YouTube. So I can't play my copyrighted music.
Aw, feels bad.
Feels bad, man.
Is today like your dual stream?
Well, that's kind of what I do for art streams now.
Okay.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. Is that I kind of found out that, since that whole, like, under 10,000 views is a thing, why am I making so many videos and why am I stressing myself over it? If I can easily just do streams and still edit a video every so often.
That's true.
Right? So, that's what I'm doing. I feel like this looks better than usual. Is that one guy still stuck? Yep. The royal jelly. Fuck. Hello.
Got the same save from last time.
Yeah.
Nice. be back.
Okay. 40,000. Fuck. Oh man, I read you were learning Blender. Oh. I thought I changed the title. Yeah, we were learning Blender earlier, but Phoenix got tired and I was kinda getting tired too. So we decided to take a break from it for the night, so we stopped. But we got to making the donut. The next part we're doing, I guess, is we're making the icing. So that's exciting. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now I just need to hit the point where I got enough courage so I can get to 40,000. Progress in the server? No, I didn't. That's not something I'm worrying about when it comes to Blender. Fucking cat throwing itself at me. Hello. I guess I'll just watch the VOD. Yeah, sorry. This cat's like, oh my god. Got food though. I did put one too many. Okay, let's see that. We'll put this one in the market. Because this is the cat that's not meant for progress. It's just meant for cuteness. Oh, we're 10,000 away. 10,000 isn't that hard to get. I just need the right ones. Hey, Walsey. How you doing? Well, if you don't know me, I'm Victoria. Welcome to the stream. If anyone on Twitch is wondering, I'm dual streaming to YouTube. So there's gonna be chat and YouTube that you guys can't see unless you're watching them both. Yeah. That's a thing. So I'm a smart streamer. I know where to stream to. Yeah, we do lots of things here. If you feel... I usually don't dual stream unless it's on a Wednesday or a Thursday night. Wednesday 5 to 9 I do Dishonored 2. Thursday I do art streams with my friend Phoenix, which is what we were doing tonight. And then we got tired, so switching to a video game is probably where I'd end up, but just kind of depends on who's with me. Oh, nice. PC Master Arias. Let's put this. Let me put a little more in this. Oi, cute cat. You wanna eat this shit, huh? Instead of just playing with it? Look at how nice that was. Oh, you play this. Oh, right. I forgot the Slime Rancher got released for console. That's crazy. I, like, totally forgot about that. When are you guys gonna fucking lay eggs? Oh, you did. So we have 2 babies. We need more. Make more babies. Are you guys making babies? I see 1 baby. 2 babies. I see 2 babies. Make more. I'm not sure either, but doesn't matter too much. Doesn't affect me. But this is, you know, super chill game. I've been playing it since like early beta-ish. I played it when it came out, like around the same time as Stardew Valley, because it, like, this and Stardew Valley were like the 2 most popular things. So I did both. So I also do Stardew Valley. I haven't played it in a while. It's kind of one of those games that once you fall off, you can't really get back into unless you're trying to. So yeah. But I don't know. I like both games. One thing that you can expect from my streams is Overwatch. If you like Overwatch, then I play Overwatch. Mercy Man, by the way. But actually, I want to get up to the point where I'm not a Mercy main and I'm a Sombra Widow main. So that's kind of what I'm training towards right now. But currently, I'm a Junkrat Mercy. Because, of course I am. I love playing Junkrat. Junkrat's my bae. And then, Mercy is obviously the gods. It's like, who doesn't play that? This guy's like, he throws temper tantrums, and it's like, it's your fault for fucking glitching into the ground, dumbass. Come on. Missing 4. Did you throw it like everywhere? You fucking did, jerk. Give me my lemons. Son of shit. Alright, well, have a good day, Walsey. You guys want food?
This is on you,
Alright.
Marty,
Marty.
Lucy.
And, okay, well, Lucy's sleeping.
I mean, Tim Guy is here as well, but I don't want to blame him because I don't know who it is.
Wait, I heard my name. What? Marty, you let my stream freeze. Sad face. Ah. So I tapped out. I guess I am responsible. Thank you for taking responsibility for something that technically should not be your fault. And
It's totally your fault.
So how was work?
Yeah.
Eh?
You know,
Yeah.
it's just.
Yeah, I get you. I have work days like that every day. I have my interview today.
Yeah.
Yeah. It went okay, I guess. Probably pretty well. I don't really know, though. They said that they're gonna call tomorrow. So if I get a call before noon, then I'm hired.
And if it's afternoon,
Eh. Well, they're like, well, if you get a call before noon, congratulations, you're hired. They didn't say if it's after. It's probably the, yeah, you're probably not gonna get a call. For what? Oh, I applied to Michael's. The craft store, obviously.
it's
And
not obvious to me.
well, I know, but that's why I said the craft store. But like, also, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Marty would know what Michael's is, so that's why I almost didn't say it. But yeah, I applied to Michael's to be like whatever they need me to be.
I'm sorry, just hang on.
God. And friggin' Michael's is cool. That's what Marty says. Michael's is just an art store, an expensive one, but also you get a 30% discount if you work there. And I'm like,
You're just in it for the
yo.
Copics, aren't you?
They don't sell Copics. What did you? That's so rude.
Oh wait, here's the one that I was actually thinking of.
Oh my god. He's basically saying that I'm being a whore.
No, I'm saying you're ditto.
It'll be so nice to get art supplies discounted. Yeah, they sell the mid-toned they sell the mid-tone sketchbook that I want. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. And I'm like, oh shit, I don't have to. If I get hired, I don't have to buy that off of Amazon. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And then that one's gonna grow up, so it's fine. When I used to work at Best Buy, you bet I exploited those. Yeah, I heard Best Buy is like a really good discount. And the thing is that I don't, like, I wanted to work at Michael's because it's chiller. But you know why it's so chill? Because it's fucking... Oh, that's what the trophy looks like. Nice. Because it's fucking, like, almost out of business. So the hours are really low. And basically, if I get hired, it'll be my second job. Like, I'm not gonna quit Target. I can't. But I want to, but I can't. And that's the sad part. It's like, I totally wish I could just quit Target, but I can't because Target gives the good hours, you know? It's just too stable. I fucking hate it. Yeah. Well, I got to the goal I wanted to get to today. Getting to it next time is gonna suck. Spend so much money. Ugh. I can't do that because when you do unemployment, well, actually, I don't know if it's the same for unemployment, but like when you do like EBT cash, not the food, but EBT cash, you eventually have to pay that money back. And it's like, bruh, if you give me food money without having to pay you back, why can't you just give me money? like I can get school grants, right, when I start school again. But it's like, I don't have to pay that shit back. I just get it. Whatever. So yeah. Get some of these lemons before they go. Give me them lemons, though. Oh, I almost got them all. Where did it go? Where'd it go? Where did the 20th lemon go? I wonder. Where's it? Ah. At least in Utah you don't have to pay it back. Really? Let's see. Yeah. Fucking sucks. Gonna do the thing. Hello, my prized possession babies. Eat your fucking food, please. Pretty please with cherries on top. Or pretty please with phase lemons on top. Got to appeal to your audience when your audience is a quantum slime. Got to appeal to their tastes. AKA phase lemons. Hey look, it's a Rubik's Cube, guys. Look at this. Come here. Come jump at me. Aw, cute. Oh my god. Leave me alone. So Phoenix was like making jokes today. About Shadow. And like, you should see the shit she sent me. Like, she sent me smut. Like, just fucking, let's see. Because we were talking about how we're gonna move to Washington. And what?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So Phoenix and I are gonna move to Washington. So, like, for some reason, the topic of Outlast came up again. And they were like, Vic, play Outlast. And I was like, fuck you, no. Like, I'm not gonna play it. I've already seen the whole game, and I don't need to play it. And they're like, play it. And then they're all talking about, like, how he's going to make me play it. Cause I had like a little crush on him for a sec. And Phoenix knew about it. And basically any guy I talk to over a voice chat, Phoenix is gonna be like, yo, you gonna fuck him though? So I'm just like, Jesus Christ. But like he was like, nah, Vic, you're gonna play it. Like, I'm already winning this. And Phoenix sent me this. She's like, your babe wants you to play. She's like, listen to your man. Take a stick. Take it like champ. She's like, Shadow, when you gonna give up that dick? And I'm like, dude. Stop. And I started getting so annoyed that, like, she would say something and I'd be like, ugh, like just randomly. And then Lucy would be like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And I'm just like, I'm sorry, Phoenix is being stupid. And then just, ugh. And the funny thing is that, like, Phoenix said it, right? She was like, Shadow's gonna cuddle up to you and you're gonna basically cave and play the game. And Shadow was like, that's exactly how it's gonna happen. And I was like, first of all, Shadow, what the fuck? Are you threatening to cuddle me? Second, no. I was like, if Phoenix couldn't get me to drink, no one's gonna get me to play Outlast. So, that was a whole thing today. And just like the fact that Shadow was humoring her was like slowly pissing me off. But then I got over it. It was like a whole funny situation, but yeah, that was the thing. And then we were talking about how, like, you know, for Phoenix to come over here, I might have to marry her. And I was like, yo, I'll totally fake marry you. Like, it's fine. We're not gonna make out though. But I'll fake marry you.
Why not real marry though?
Huh?
'Cause, I mean, I ship it.
But she was like, yeah, we'll like marry each other until like the required time, and then we can divorce. I was like, yeah, sounds good. She's like, yeah, I gotta make sure you're open for Jack. And I was like, that is not what we need to make sure of. Like, I told her, I'm like, I only have to marry him if we both hit 40 and we're single. It's fine if I get married before that.
I mean, I don't remember ever agreeing on an age. I just remember it being when we give up.
Well, yeah, but like, you know, the aim is 40. Cause I don't want to give up. Figure 40 would be the give up anyway, you know. I know Ziz. I know. Just Phoenix ships everything. Like she said it in chat like the perfect way. She was like, yeah, if like we're gonna be in a grocery store, I'm gonna be looking at the cereal, I'm gonna turn my back, and then I turn around and she's gonna have 3 guys in the shopping cart. Like, and we're just and she was talking to Lucy saying how she's exactly like she is when she first started playing Minecraft with me. Where, like, she would just run off somewhere, and I'd turn around, and I could not find her. Like, I was like, how did you get that far in 5 seconds? I just turned my back.
That's what she said.
No, but, like, that's her. Yes, she is a true shipper. She really is, because she draws smut. Like, she drew a second thing of smut of me and Infragen, and I'm just like, Jesus, please stop. I don't need this in my life. I'm like, why can't I'm like, why I commented on the Facebook thing because she like posted 3 different pictures that she drew. And the only one that had any shading was ours. And I'm like, you know, I've noticed that you seem to like drawing unsinkable smut because it's the only time you ever shade anything ever, and I feel like that's your way of throwing it. Like, that's her way of throwing shade. It's by shading the smut and shading nothing else. And it pisses me off. I'm like, why can't you shade your really cool drawings like this? But no, she'd rather shade fucking two people trying to hold me and Infragun back from each other. And like, when she tells me she's going to draw smut, I just tell her, please no. And she does it anyway. So it's a sad time. I told her the two people that are like in white should be Rubik's and Ryan. Because I think that would be funny. Like, who would be holding back who, you know? But it'd be funny.
But I mean, I don't really know either of them that well.
Well, I know, but none of your friends care.
Yeah, fair point.
Like,
Or if anything, like most of the friends that I've ever mentioned you to have responded with "get keen."
what is that?
I'm like, guys, she lives in the US. They're like, doesn't matter, get keen. I'm just like, fuck off.
What is... Okay, I know what being keen means, but what does get keen mean? Like, specifically.
Do I actually have to explain this?
Yeah, because isn't being keen like, you're like super excited for something? So why would they say get keen?
Because I'm not super excited for something, and they think that I should be.
Ah. Phoenix asked me, she was like, hey, so like, who's the #1 shipper among like everyone? Like who ships you and Infragun the most? And she's like, and it can't be either of you two. Like, it has to be someone else. And I was like, I don't fucking know. I'm like, Polly? Like the guy who originally shipped us would be Polly. She's like, I don't know what he looks like. And I was like, I don't know either. You could just make him a Twitch person.
I don't think it was Paulie first though, because it would have been on your stream.
No, it was on yours.
No, I'm pretty sure it was on yours, because I was playing Forza and I couldn't stream that. Oh my god, that's a game that I should play.
No, it was when you were
gonna have
doing
to download
Sonic.
Yeah, I know Paulie was when I was doing Sonic, but I'm pretty sure...
Because, like,
he
Polly
got
was the
shipped
one
when
who...
I wasn't streaming.
Because well, I mean, like, he's the first one who was, like... I think he was the one that was like, it's a girlfriend stream or something. Like, he was the one who said that.
I don't know.
We'll never know. The stream's deleted by now. Oh man. If we were psychic, we would have fucking clipped that shit. Would have been like, we're gonna need this in the future. Oh man. What time is it? There's a bunch of shit on my bed because I was looking for shoes.
That's an awkward place to leave it.
Shut up. This, I swear to God, this fucking dervish slime, like, I wish I could kill it.
Shoot it off a cliff.
I can't. It's stuck.
Push it. Push it off a cliff.
I can't. Like, it's legit stuck. Actually, that's what I want to try to fix before I go to bed. Alright. Slime is stuck. Slime rancher. Slime stuck in the ground. Oh, shit. The slimes can stuck underground. I got a big old underground in my ranch and I have no idea how I'm supposed to retrieve it or kill it. It's just stuck there. I figured out how to fix it. I tried sucking him up, but it wasn't working completely since he couldn't get to the ground. When I used the pulse and poof, It forced him through the ground. Still, though, there should be something else that you can do to fix this kind of glitch. Wait, so you're supposed to... You're supposed to be able to just pulse him. So it's this, and then... Come on. Yes! That's awesome. Bitch. It's fixed. Yo, I love Googling things now. It was fixed. Hi, Michaelaj Dabrowski. Woo, yeah, I fixed it. I can get back to making some real money. Oh, no more tornadoes. Woo. The fuck is that other goddamn pair? Can't see the pair. I'm such a smart person because I fixed that.
Because you decided to Google how to fix it?
Let me have this.
No.
Why not? Is it the same reason? Never mind. I didn't want to say that.
Is it the same reason as what?
I'm not gonna say it.
Why not?
Cause it's too much. It's too extra.
Is it? Is it?
Yeah. It's too much. Why aren't there just a million fucking puddle plorts, huh? Puddle slimes, huh? You guys only produce up to 12? It's bullshit. Hello, other slimes. Does it not lose water anymore? Did they fix that? Or did they like change it? Because that used to be a trade-off. Whatever. Okay. I wonder how much this is gonna be worth. 62 only. Darn. Ah, fuck. He's like, ooh. I'm impatient. Easy. I wonder how high this trophy will stack. What a good question. Okay, I think that's it. I solved the problems. We got to the next tier of 7Z. And we're on our way to getting the next level of treasure pods, I guess. So tomorrow I'll be back with the usual Overwatch, but it's not going to be a dual stream. Yes, I might go. Well, yeah, I'm gonna. No, actually, I might still be up for like another hour, but I'm not gonna stream. Yeah. If you want to see Overwatch tomorrow, I am not dual streaming that one, so you'll have to follow on Twitch. And that is twitch.tv/VictoriaSport. And I'm saying that for the YouTubers because...
Shameless plug.
Because shameless plug. Exactly. I'm not gonna go to sleep. Fuck that, sis. Also, sis, why don't you curse? Pretty sure cursing's allowed on my channel. In server.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I hope it's allowed.
It should be. Cause like I curse all the time. Fuck. Alright, yeah. Good night, stream.